Hey robot that turns into a car then back into a robot fan, welcome to my review of Transformers 4, Age of Extinction. Like usual for new movies, I'm going to give my spoiler-free review right now. It's kinda neat. Whether or not you like this movie has a lot to do with how much you like the other Transformers movies, as this one's darn similar. The action is cool, if a little bit disorienting. There's too much focus on the human characters and not enough on the, well, Transformers. But instead of bad comedy, TF4 is going for a shiny coat of paranoia, black helicopters, conspiracies, and spy games. So I guess it's like Hasbro's Winter Soldier. Anyway, I give Transformers 4 Age of Extinction 3 out of 5. Okay, light spoilers incoming. It's 5 years after the Battle of Chicago in TF3, and a secret CIA Black Ops cell called Cemetery Wind under the command of evil Dr. Fraser Crane is hunting down the few surviving Autobots, alongside a bounty hunter called Lockdown, who may or may not be working for the Quintessons. The Autobot remains are then handed off to an evil defense contractor so they can make Transformium.
Seriously? That's what they're going with?
And Mark Wahlberg and family get drawn into the whole mess when they try and cash in on a reward for Optimus Prime. Yeah, the story is just a bit complicated.
Hey, look who won the Understatement of the Week award.
The movie starts off with a lot of the same stuff as the last three, like it's trying to be an action comedy with the human characters. But then the mood completely changes when a longtime Autobot mainstay gets pretty brutally killed by Lockdown and his spook buddies, and then the Pompeizing of what looked like the fun-time comic relief character. Also, the mostly stoic Autobot leader is awfully down on humanity this time around. I think as part of the more grim and gritty tone that the movie's going for. One of the great things about the Transformers movies is how they managed to get the original voices for both Optimus Prime and Megatron, or in this case, Galvatron, who in this version is like a combination of the G1 Galvatron and the most recent version of Nemesis Prime. The two rivals only have one brief fight scene together before Lockdown shows up. He's a pretty cool antagonist. He's got a big scary spaceship, a gang of faceless henchmen, and he's a decent fighter. He also has one of the cooler weapons I've seen in the Transformers movies, the Pompeii grenade. Also, the gun for a face thing is darn cool. The evil off-brand Transformers made by Cyberdyne Systems just end up as disposable Viacon troopers for the Autobots to stomp all over. The good guys this time around are Bumblebee, naturally, who's got a dude with an attitude thing going on.
I liked him better when he was mute.
Crosshairs, who's probably the coolest with his giant robot version of a duster.
Impractical, yet stylish.
A giant robot samurai, voiced by Ken Watanabe, named Drift. And Hound, who doesn't really look like Hound so much as a giant robot John Goodman. They all get appropriately bad hero moments, while they blow up, shoot, or stab legions of prefab Decepticons and Lockdown's boys. But they tend to jump all over the personality spectrum, ranging from unhelpful to a little deranged. And there just aren't enough Dinobots in this movie. They only show up right at the end for the big final battle, and none of them talk, denying us the wisdom of that warrior poet, Grimlock.
Grimlock smash! Therefore Grimlock am.
The story also plays pretty fast and loose with how the TF verse is supposed to work. I've always preferred the pseudo-mystical Unicron Primus origins of the Transformers, but I was okay with the almighty Allspark Cube of Power explanation. Now the waters are even muddier with the possibility of the Quintessons being behind everything. Okay, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Transformers Age of Extinction. On the good side, the action is pretty decent. The movie serves as a showcase for the more obscure Autobots. The mech design is a lot better this time, with all the Autobots being immediately recognizable and very distinctive. And when the Dinobots show up and the action hits its high point, it's just bad. There's also a fun shout out to MLP fans. On the downside, the plot is insanely complex. Most of the human characters are sorta unlikable, and the story tends to drag in places. So if you hate the other Transformers movies, you're probably gonna hate this thing. But I still give it a 3 out of 5. If you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913, or find me on Facebook for video updates and more. Thanks for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.